My goal? I want a world where no one alive can remember what the word war means. I'm a World War II baby, born in 1945 into a military family. My father fought all of World War II and all of the Korean War. I only knew soldiers. I didn't really know the United States. And while my father was away in war, my mother gave me me. She gave all of her love and attention and interest to her two sons and gave me ethics. And that was the most important thing she said I should have. So, my father died when I was 16. It broke my heart. When you grow up in a military family, fathers die in wars. And I understood that. What was much more difficult is I returned to the United States in 1961 to the South, which was in a huge movement, not yet, to get rights to a large part of our population. Our black population had no rights. They couldn't use a drinking fountain or a toilet of a white person. I was put in an all-white school, naturally. Public school, where they separated the colors, and I instantly hurt. I realized my country was fake, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights was nothing, and that religion, Christianity, where was a Christian? What would Christ do? So, in the adult world was an embarrassment. And my mother gave me everything, but she did not give me revolution. So when I was 17, 3 times I was hospitalized in mental hospitals. I wanted to kill myself. I didn't want to live in a world of violence and injustice. And I was beaten up almost every day in high school, my last 2 years, because I took a stand, and people in my class would beat me up. And so I was hospitalized 3 times in mental hospitals, wanting to kill myself. I was placed on medication, meaningless psychotherapy, and between the 2nd and 3rd hospitalization, I was present in Washington, D.C. in 1963 of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, and there were 1 million people there, and they were saying change, and I heard that. And in the 3rd hospital, lightning strikes and says, "You don't kill yourself, you dumbass. You make revolution." Revolution means change. And so I decided instantly to make a love revolution. And that's when I found out my mother gave me the greatest gift I think a parent can give a child. She gave me self-esteem. And what does that mean? Is that as soon as you make a decision, you do it. You know you can do it. You say, "I can do it." That's self-esteem. And so I made 2 decisions that have shaped every second of my life now for 50 years. The first was very practical. I knew the capitalist system was going to be the destruction of humanity, that money is not God, and that we do not care for our poor. So I would be a free doctor, and now, 42 years, I have been a free doctor. The other decision was much more personal. How can I be an instrument for peace and justice in every minute, every second of my life? And that's where I decided that one choice we have is to live from our intentions, that you decide who you will be, like an architect designs a building or a composer composes a symphony. I will put this note here. So I decided that I would never have another bad day. I would be happy as a political act. And living from intention, my job was to choose in each moment how to perform that intention and notice the consequences, and if I like the result, to appreciate that as one way to address a particular moment. And as long as I paid attention, in Buddhism it's called mindfulness. You know, now, it's now, it's now. And so what is my performance for the intention I will love life? I found out very quickly that it was actually 6 intentions, and that was happy, funny, loving, cooperative, creative, and thoughtful. And that is how I feel. I've lived my life every second for 50 years, and it's been easy because I was deciding who I would be. Another thing I did at the same time that's really important, I don't think I've mentioned it, is I poetically say that I dove into the ocean of gratitude and never found the shore. I'm swimming thankful. I am swimming, I imagine I'm thankful for 10 billion things, and I'm ready to list them. And that gratitude is such an appreciation for life that everything else is small. I'm sorry for the nightmares, and I am crazy enough to think that in this love revolution are solutions to the problems. Because if I can reiterate what I said at the beginning, my goal is a world where no one alive can remember what the word war means. I've chosen to do that political action as a medical doctor and a clown. They actually are 2 faces of the same thing. So I started clowning as a kid because I was a skinny, nerd, dweeb, dork, sissy boy. And on military bases, the other boys were manly men. And they picked on people like me. And I started to clown because I found out that the bully didn't hit their fool. And so it saved my life. But when I left the hospital, okay, there was on fire. You know, I was going to change the world and I was going to be happy the rest of my life. I already was an extreme extrovert, so I decided that I would go and experiment with people. I spent 2 hours a day for 2 years every day calling up wrong numbers on the telephone to practice talking with people. And I would go spend 10 hours a week on elevators going up and down in crowded Washington, because once that door shuts, there they are, your people. And I would interact with them. I would be in different costumes. In those days, I didn't limit myself. I would just think up something and do it. On the elevator, for example, I would lay against the back wall and just see who gets on an elevator with a person laying against the back wall. And this was clowning, and I noticed what was really important in this time: a twinkle in the eye, a smile on the face, and a willingness to greet. That was clowning. And what you wrapped around it was your own moment. Then I started to, when our hospital closed in 1984, I wanted to do some work for peace and justice, so we started our clown trips. And I thought, I want to be one character, because all those other characters don't add up the way one character with a huge amount of experience can when you're with human suffering. And I thought, how do I make a large man that might be strange, soft, and harmless? And I had already worked a number of years with adults with Down syndrome, and they were what gurus try to achieve, which is unconditional love and funny. And so my character became an adult with Down syndrome. And I want to show you what I've been doing now, really since 1985. I have clown legs, as you can see. I pull up my pants like this.
Fish. Fish is my friend. When I'm lonely, I'll hold the fish to me. Feel good. Yeah, I've gone all over the world with many war zones and refugee camps, and next month I'm going to Syrian refugee camps with my fish. And Pat, he's seen a lot of bad things, and a lot of times there's nothing you can do, but me, I can go there and love him and be goofy. Yeah. So you'll notice these are things I always have in my carry-on bag when I fly all over the world. And if my plane is delayed, then there's a lot of trouble that'll happen in the airport. So that's really what being in that hospital led me to in deciding to be happy was, how do you be happy in the worst of human experiences? And it's easy if what you're doing is giving care. Yay.